Hello and good morning to all of you. Let's go ahead and start. So today's topic is the different social media strategies that can bring you new monthly students. Folks, I'm not again sharing any theories. These ideas have emerged from running three different studios that are uniquely different communities, different cultures, and three different energy patterns. Social media was never the major problem. My relationship to it was. So the session is about what has changed slowly, intentionally, and how you can skip the painful parts I went through. So, so when I was running just one studio, social media felt annoying. When I added the second studio, it felt heavy. By the third studio, I felt like noise I couldn't afford mentally or emotionally. And then at some point, I realized if something touches all three studios every day, it must be designed with care, not reaction. So, social media start should be with calm. If it isn't, then something is misaligned. The social media setup must be intentional, repeatable, and aligned with how families actually make decisions. Today, it's about making a system that works with your life, not against it. So, I think right now you have to reclaim your agency by not doing more, by not posting more, but understanding why you're posting at all. When I stepped back and asked, what job is social media actually doing for my studio? Everything shifted. I want you to leave with that clarity today. When you create social media, it should be with an intention of getting more enrollment. Stop guessing what to post and build confidence in a simple, repeatable post. And so you have no hype, no pressure, just clarity. I want to remove pressure right now. You do not need to become a content creator. You do not need to chase reels, audios, or trends. I learned this the hard way. Chasing visibility without alignment creates exhaustion, not enrollment. So we are building something quieter and more powerful. So now, why does social media feel so hard? Here's something I noticed across all three studios. Social media was not always written in between things, between classes, between conversations, between emotional moments. So the content carried that energy, rushed, reactive, and unclear. The platform wasn't broken, the context was. So if you post inconsistently, you get unpredictable results. You feel time is wasted, energy gets drained. So obviously that's not a creativity problem, it's a strategy problem. When something doesn't have a defined role, it becomes a emotional drain. Across three studios, I realized media had become everyone's responsibility and therefore no one's system. Anything that lives in your head costs you energy. Systems give energy back because it protects you from the from the burnout. So this was a humbling realization for me. Parents were watching all three studios, silently. They did not comment, they did not like something, they did not message. But later they would say one thing like, "We have been following you for months." And that's when the change happens. So social media isn't a conversation, it's an observation. So when you look at this, parents are watching you quietly, scrolling repeatedly, but then they just decide one day and break away. What are parents looking for in a studio? They're not evaluating your choreography. They're not evaluating uh, how your posts are. They're evaluating safety, care, and belonging. When you run multiple studios, you start to see patterns. You see the same questions, the same hesitations, the same fears. Social media answers those fears without words. So, where do you begin? So, by the time someone gets an email, the decision is already made. So, the enrollment starts before the inquiry. Social media has already done its work. And this realization takes a lot of pressure off of me, which means that social media doesn't need to close. It just needs to prepare. It just needs to prepare my customers. So parents are looking for culture, the environment they can likely trust, and above all, prepare them with a mindset shift, so they come and uh, get ready to enroll. So this was a big turning point for me. I stopped asking what should I post today and started instead asking what would help a new family feel calm choosing us. This particular question changed my tone, my pacing, and my expectation across the different dance studios that I was doing marketing for. So now my job became clear. Social media exists to show the place is human, the place is clear, and the place is handled. If your posts communicate those three things, enrollments follow naturally. The place should feel like a human, the place is clear, and the place is handled. So, with that in mind, we build trust. Every studio that grows sustainably has these three pillars. Pillars don't need to grow explosively. We just want culture, clarity, and consistency. And I want to spend time in detail with each pillar. Now, whenever one studio struggled, it was usually because one pillar was missing. So, so let's look at each one to understand what it means. You see, first pillar, culture, is not about branding. families tend to enroll in people, not programs. Culture is how people feel when they walk into the door. So you've done some events, you're hosting an event. What do people feel like after they have stepped out of the event? Did they feel care? Did they feel presence of instructors? Did they feel engaged? Did they see the everyday reality of what they will experience when they enroll? So, culture is stepping away from selling and start simply showing daily reality. When you show the daily reality, engagement changes quietly but consistently. Being authentic matters more than being polished. Because again, culture is not about um, sales. Culture is about who you are. Your studio, your instructors, your engagement with students, your logo, the colors, your decor, all of those. Now, what are some things that seem effective? So let me give you some examples. A teacher talking to a student, maybe even kneeling down to encourage a student, a quiet class moment, a demonstration, an interaction explaining the program using a flyer, which gives clients something to take away so they don't have to remember anything. And it's not cumbersome, it's very plain. So these kind of moments scale trust. And this can be communicated in these kind of things can be communicated in your um, posts when you're representing culture. See, at the end of the day, when we humanize our posts for culture, where we show real class moments, instructor engagement, student effort put in with instructors' guidance and the joy of success, and many behind the scene glimpses that I'm not covering right now. Those kind of posts will humanize your studio. And it doesn't have to be well edited. It can just be a video shot using your smartphone and done and posted. So, because it's that level of authenticity today that speaks directly to your clients. At the end of the day, I want to mention that the culture communicates that your child won't be lost here. More than programs or pricing, this mattered the most. That when a child comes in, they're going to be noticed, they'll feel welcoming, they'll feel safe. And yes, I can picture my child here. And your conversations can also help with the visualization that, yeah, we are going to create a sense of belonging that will convert into brilliance. Now, I also want to mention what culture misconceptions are. Culture is not about performance reels all the time. Because I see a lot of studios doing a ton of posts about the capabilities out of the dance. So it's not about choreography clips or just reels after reels about dancing. If everything is highlight, then nothing feels real. See, when we do social marketing for even our own products, we want to be human. We want to be real because that's what builds trust. That's what creates a connection. That's what builds enrollment. So I hope the culture aspect is going to draw people in. There are things that sometimes people say, that you can go back and record that may be unfiltered, right? And it's a meaningful conversation that you can tap into for converting, for drawing people into your culture. The other thing, the second pillar is talking about clarity. See, one of the biggest issues I saw was confusion. Parents are like, where do I start? And that delays action. Common questions, right? When you're not providing clarity. Who is this class for? What is your offering? Where do we start? How long is the program? How much do I pay? How do I pay? And when these are addressed in proper flyers and marketing documentation on your website, people can sign up easily. We have to remove that. And so when you have clarity, that will reduce hesitation. And you must try and do that. So across all the 3 studios, the same question kept coming up. What are the age groups? What are the dance styles? What are the skill levels? What are the entry points? So we answered these before parents asked. So these can only be drawn once your programs are created with clarity. So now, once you have clarity in your programs, then the posts you put act like your front desk. They're supposed to reduce anxiety, and they say, the post should say, you don't need to figure out this alone. And clarity converts. Here are some examples. Are you new to dance? Start here. Ages 3 to 5, ballet explained. What does the first class look like? And you might have a infographic post. You can also have recreational dance versus competitive dance. You can compare and contrast those. More educated are your clients about your studio, better the chance that they will sign up. The clarity in your posts matters because that's what creates. Think about this, right? You don't want to be emotional in the sales, but yet the sale itself is the emotional decision. And the underpinning of that is served through your clarity. So in the previous pillar, I was talking about culture. That's going to create a sense of safety. Clarity is going to draw them in, and the moment you can answer their questions quickly, the conversion will happen. How? Because once all these questions are answered, you look organized, predictable, and trustworthy. So clear studios will feel safe. Safe studios get emails. Confusing studios will get watched, but not chosen. So trust lowers the barrier to even inquiry. So that is where, if your social posts have not provided clarity, you can remove the older posts and just start new. As part of today's session, I'm going to provide a 30-day plan, a sample plan that you can use as a starting point for creating your social media. The third pillar I want to spend some time on is consistency. Consistency saves my energy because you put an element of predictability. So you're not putting more content, but you're you're making fewer decisions. One thing, operationally, it allows me to delegate responsibility. And I'm not creating any kind of overwhelm within the staff. And consistency also jives with search engines for pushing the brand in the search ecosystem. So you want to stay visible over time. You want to repeat key messages. Notice there are certain politicians we know of at the moment that repeat the same thing, and it hones in to the client, to the audience, as an element they remember for building trust. So there is certain things that are part of your messaging. You want to repeat those as much as possible. So now, being consistent is regular messaging, showing up regularly, and staying visible. But being consistent is not about volume. You don't have to do a daily post, talk about every dance platform. You don't have to have a burnout level where you say, oh my God, this is exhausting. And you don't have to come up with newer ideas. What you want to do is come up with a rhythm that gives an element of predictability, and that predictability creates a sense of calm among your dance students. So we developed some themes to create sustainable presence. So a consistent theme, a consistent rhythm, a consistent tone, and this is how we built recognition. These were the underpinnings. So usage of logo, for example, right here for Smart Studio Circle, our presentation look and feel, email templates, the timing rhythm where we send you a message few minutes before, and so on. Now, sometimes you go into social media and you're like, I'm going to get a lot of views, a lot of likes, and so therefore we are popular and therefore we are going to get more enrollments. Nope. I've done a lot of workshops this month and even last month, taking you through how to build enrollments. You can get, like in one studio, we have very few likes, but a lot of inquiries. In another, there was a higher engagement with social media because of what was posted, but that did not translate into enrollment because that just was appreciation of the social posts. It did not give any cultural endurance. So likes just means more visibility, but posts when they are done that engenders trust means it measures readiness. And so this is where A/B testing really helps. It really helps. So to wrap up on the three pillars, I've got clarity, I've got consistency, and culture. You want to present your studio culture through um, authenticity that builds trust. You want to present clarity about your products. So, questions like what age, what level, what entry point are somewhat clear. One good indicator is frequently asked questions and maybe doing a social post on that. So, like I said, with clarity, the social posts become like the front desk. And consistency simply referred to creating some element of predictability across themes and rhythms. So you're doing casual posts to build recognition, but your job is not to fathom likes or followers. Likes and followers is a natural side effect, but that does not equate to more enrollment. You want your social media strategy to be something that builds trust, is repeatable, and aligned with your uh, culture over the lifetime of your studio. So, the next thing I want to pop into is the social media funnel. Think of each post as a brick. No single brick by itself is not impressive, but when put together, it builds a wonderful product that builds confidence. So you have to think of the journey of your uh, end users that are watching your social media. So they see your posts repeatedly. They begin to recognize your studio. Among our dance studio owners that are walking in from time to time are recognizing our logo, our email templates. And as we provide valuable information with templates, with things you can actually enable by not taking up a lot of your time. We do we do two sessions every week, Monday and Thursday, and they are typically 25 to 30 minutes each. And we provide a recording. You can also download the templates. Like for today, I'll give you a 30-day social media plan that you can just go out and implement. So the journey is number of social media posts, and typically each time a customer goes out to research about you, whether they go on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook or LinkedIn, they should recognize the studio. And by going through 8, 10, 15 glances to the post in about 2 minutes, they should feel the trust, so they begin to inquire about who you are. That's what I think of social media today. I'm not looking at it as a money maker, but I think it can be built with 30 to 45 days very easily if done right. Now, you can't rush readiness. It's not like you've done posts for 30 days and you're like, why am I not getting enrollments? You see, that's just brand awareness, eyeballs to your logo. So families enroll when their life opens space. And your job is to be there. People are not just going to come and say, oh, because you opened or because you have a special will show up. No. They show up when their life allows. And you have to just be there consistently with clarity, ready to go the moment they show up. Small stories are just wonderful. They're inviting, don't create intimidation, can be absorbed in less than 30 seconds. And if they are dramatically relatable, I know I say relatable beats dramatic, right? But I want to say, if those are dramatically relatable, it'll be awesome. Because you want the connection to go to like 60 to 70% of your common customer base. So if your common customer base is like you're teaching ballet to kids between the age of 6 to 10, then you need to link to moms, and your audience could be mom circles, PTAs, etc. But you can go to PTAs, but if you're giving a really dry flyer and it doesn't relate to mom's emotion, she's not going to enroll her kid. You want to enroll, she'll enroll if she can relate. And sometimes one relation, and then going to my talk about referrals, that was in one of the, I think, last couple of weeks. You might blow the enrollments. You might grow so fast that it would be, really nice for it'll be like music to your ears. So stories matter, and you want to discover those stories. You can use products like CapCut, where you feed in a small real AI story to, a small real story to AI that can create a script, and then CapCut can generate a video for you. Because at the end of the day, not all dance studio owners are pros at creating videos, you see. One way to create a video is to just talk to your customer, get their approval, and say, hey, we want to record you. And the other could be just using products like CapCut. So you can show things like first class nerves, how people are nervous on the first day and then they get confidence. You can talk about smaller improvements, instructors' encouragements, talk about students' confidence, right? You can talk about your why, although I've honestly, when I talk about my why of creating this, yeah, it's inviting for the first 1 or 2 weeks, but after that, it's like, bye-bye. Who cares? So you want to connect with your stories, with your students. And guys, can I also say something about emotional resonance? Parents see themselves in the stories. They imagine their child. And that imagination is powerful. So that's why growth moments, sense of belonging, support, and care mirrors. And we don't want to think about this too much. The last thing you want is if somebody is acting as, if you have a larger studio, you will have maybe a media strategist. And if she's thinking a lot about, the message and this, that, and the other, you don't want to overthink it. You want to think about it. I'm not saying that, but you don't want to get into analysis paralysis. So I'm just saying, I've done it. I've done overthinking. And I shoot myself in the foot every time. I wasted years overthinking. Just clarity and presence does more than anything else. So you don't need to think about, what are the trends? Let's not worry about it. Let's worry about what you teach. Let's worry about what you do. And if that doesn't get you enrollments, what will? Fancy editing, hiring a video editor that charges $300 a video, creating long ass captions that don't have the return, creating novelty. No, keep it simple. Clarity and presence. Like record a call with a customer. Record, usually your agreements should by default um, allow recording of what goes on in your studios. So that way you don't have to seek permission. So on an opening day, on an event day, in a class, I walk in and I just record clips and then I say, okay, let's just post them. So clarity and presence. Okay, now if you have to plan your social posting every day, that's going to be stressful. So if you don't want to do volume, right? The goal is not dominance with content. The goal is familiarity. That's what we are shooting for. So you think of alignment, repeatability, consistency, and confidence. If you're measuring a post every time, or if let's say one of your staff member comes to you, well, Bob, should I post this? I'm thinking, okay, does this align with the culture? Does the post look similar to the previous posts? Do we have some consistency, or are we just going off and starting a new track? And when I look at the post, does it give me confidence? And folks, please answer these questions with your heart. Don't use your brain, because your brain is too smart. Your brain is ready to say no. No, you're not going to say that. You do it with your heart. Heart is where the customer emotion is. Heart is where the love is. And it's all about asking the right questions at the right time. Okay? So what I want to do is I want to give you guys a start. Create a 30-day content framework, a reusable structure where you have culture, clarity, and invitation posts, and then repeat. Every month has these. A few culture, a few clarity, a few invitation. You understand what's happening, right? Once you do this, you stop reinventing. You see, your culture evolves. You might say, I like this bit better than this. And then in your team meetings, you should be looking at the post and saying, is this representing our culture? Are we out of our mind? Sorry, I don't mean that in, a significantly negative way, but we have to ask that question. Does our post set represent culture, clarity, and invitation, or are we deviating our customers far away from us? So let's say we start week 1 with culture. So this will plug our beginners with clarity, which will reduce fear. So we show studio atmosphere. We do entry-level explanation. We're trying to reduce the fear early. Each week can have focus, you see. So second week's focus can be people enrolling with people. Conversations with your instructor, what your class feels like. So you begin to build familiarity. The entry point just simple thing. as people enter the studio, things outside of the studio, pictures of your front desk or a video of your front desk, the 3-4 classrooms you have, people practicing, people hanging out, an instructor teaching a ballet class to 5 students in her class, being supportive, instructor kneeling down on her knees and helping a youngling, hey, your move is like this or like that. It should never be you collecting the money from, sorry, I'm not trying to be sarcastic, please forgive me, collecting money from the client. It should never be about that. I hope I'm helping here, yeah? And then student stories. Now you come into week 3, now you talk about progress, and that creates confidence. You see, you're taking your potential clients through a journey. And this is not just for when you open the studio. This is also for when you're getting newer enrollments over season, and you can do some alignment of these stories to season. If you're going to go through a competition season, which is twice a year, we can do posts about confidence. Posts about confidence in competition and with potential vendors that you're working with. So you show a sense of belonging. You show the pathways for your products that you have from beginner, intermediate, advanced, or showing progress of a student. You also talk about, this is a novel item. Talk about, please think about this. Talk about students' persona. How has it evolved? If you can see a student that was very shy and introvertish when she walked in, and she stayed with you for a few weeks or a few years, and you see her confident, communicative, her moves in dance are adding positivity in her life, you want to record that. That is your credit. That is your teachers being so influential beautifully in the lives of the student. And that's a story that you have to share. Again, you're not trying to create sales here, but you're trying to present culture, clarity. Now, reassurance will open doors. So how do you reassure families? You do gentle invitations, right? You never pressure anyone to signing up. You want to create a reassurance. For example, in one of our studios, we'll say, actually not in one, but in all 3, we say that we guarantee you your money back. Free lessons. If the goal is not achieved, we will put in extra effort at our own cost to get your student up and running. Sometimes we get students with disabilities that are trying to make shifts in their life. That's when our hearts open up more, because we want to say, come on board, because our goal is not sometimes that you dance, but our goal is you're more confident. Please let me know if you disagree with me, that when we install confidence, then people dance automatically. And these are gentle invitations where it creates reassurance, and reassurance will open doors. So invitations will respect autonomy. In the social media world, these are also called call to actions, right? And it's not a sign up button where you pay. Learn more in our bio, messages for questions, new families start here. These are calm, inviting CTAs or calls to action that are not pushy and convert better. Because when you engage, when you answer questions, you make a long-lived customer. And when you make a long-lived customer, then your referral strategy should kick in for your success. And when should you avoid CTAs, call to actions? Don't create, this is something I'm so against. Enroll by this date and get 20% off. Yeah, it works. But it's more like being a used car salesman. You don't want to be that. Or guilt language. If you don't sign up now, this thing is gone forever. Hard selling, over explaining, right? So your confidence, clarity will just attract. And even if you are priced a little bit higher, that is actually good because at least people know they're not going to get noise. The worst thing that salespeople in a dance studio can do is get emotional. Oh my God, that can just show lack of confidence that makes students run away. So that's why when we create a system, it reduces decision fatigue. Systems scale peace because it saves your time, energy, gives consistency, reduces stress. And so, templates or systems creates freedom. So, of course, we also, you guys know, we create CircleRAM.ai and we help you with planning your content, using what works, automating posts, tracking engagement. And so communication becomes a system. And, we provide all these features in our product. Uh, so I always like, whenever you come to sessions like these, I always suggest, hey, take one action. Because that is important. That is my call to action for you right now. Like right now, think of one real moment that you want to share. It happened yesterday or day before. You know it in your head. Or there was one post you did that could use more clarity. So you're going to go back to a post you did yesterday, or if you didn't do one, you're going to go back and take a look at it. Or you can plan for 1 week ahead. You see? So these things will create momentum. My request is, if you're not thinking about this, to start thinking about it now. So you can start building your momentum quietly but consistently. So final thing, growth comes from trust. And trust compounds quietly. You feel familiar, you feel consistent, you feel safe. You install this for your families. That's why they're going to enroll. And if this is your rationale for creating your social media strategy, that will build over time. So thank you. I went a little bit over today because I had a lot to say. Thank you for spending this time with us. Thank you for being here. You're not behind. You're always building intentionally for your students. Try to protect your energy, reduce your stress, and if we can help you design your media strategy, sales strategy, etc., we are here for you. And thank you for being part of this community. I need to go get some water, but I'll be around to answer any questions you guys may have. And thank you for stopping by today. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Thanks, everyone. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll be here. Anio, Nancy, Evolution Dance Company. Sorry, Evolution Dance Center. You can post your questions in chat. All right, Nancy. Thank you. Appreciate that. And if I think you guys can also use your microphone if I'm not mistaken. You can just unmute and talk. So, all right. Well, I will see you guys on the next week, if at all. We have posted a lot of workshops, like I said, and we are working on our social media strategy also to inform you guys of what's coming in the future. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thanks.